In a draft that focused heavily on the Bears trading up to get Justin Fields in the first round, there's a sneaky good storyline of the division surrounding the Vikings. Minnesota surprised some by selecting Kellen Mond in the third round, day 2 of the draft. Kirk Cousins still the guy in the Twin Cities, but the question then becomes for how much longer. Vikings general manager Rick Spielman appeared on Mad Dog Sports Radio talking about any of that Mond supplanting the veteran talks, and right now there is no question that Kirk Cousins is our quarterback. He also went on to say, if we wanted to do just like we do with everything else on the board continues to fall, we want to get the best players available on our board. That is Jason Luckenford joining us here, talking about the situation in Minnesota. Jason, what more can you tell us about the plan in place with Kellen Mond and the relationship now with Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, right now we're 4 months away from them having to play football games, and right now they're stuck paying Kirk Cousins $35 million a year, and they redid that contract to try to extend what they thought was a window to compete, and that ended up not working, and Kirk Cousins is very much on the clock. Excuse me, and this is an organization that didn't just sit back and, oh, well, okay, Kellen Mond is there, and we like him, we're going to take him. They were in on Justin Fields. They didn't want to pay the price. They didn't want to move up or do what they would have had to done to ultimately move up. They sat back, then Fields is off the board, and now we're trading way back. And we're going to wait and see what offensive lineman is still there when we get there. And it worked out well for them, and I like what they did, but don't get it twisted. This wasn't like Mond was the only kid they liked, and it was only at the right price. No, they're trying to upgrade at the quarterback position, and Mond is a part of that equation, and they're trying to upgrade and do it for far less than $35 million a year. So do I think Kirk Cousins is under any immediate pressure? No. I think Mond redshirting, learning from him, maybe playing a bit as the season progresses, could make all the sense in the world. But I'll also tell you that I won't say the days are numbered, but the years are numbered as to how much further this ownership group wants to keep going with the model they've established, which is paying the quarterback that much money. I think this is the last year of that.
Let's continue the quarterback theme and talk about Cowboys signal caller Dak Prescott giving us an update on his ankle rehab. Believes he can play right now. Here's a quote from Dak saying, "I'm close. I can go play in a game right now and in my head be very, very successful. There's no doubt that when I need to be successful and when I need to do the things that needs to be taken on the field, I'll do exactly that, and the time will be right." How are things going on in Dallas right now, Jason, in the timetable in return for Dak Prescott?
Yeah, that injury happened early in the season. He's a guy who's all ball. He's dedicated to his recovery. He's put in all the time that you could want and then some. So, yeah, in that organization, you never want to say a fait accompli. Things can happen. But he's on a clear path to be ready to play football for them this in training camp and in week 1. Anything before that, look, we got this battle going on between the PA and the league about virtual off seasons, in-person off seasons, who should be there, who shouldn't. From what I gathered, Dallas has better attendance than a lot of other teams, but still, there's not a whole lot for Dak Prescott to be gaining from OTAs right now. He knows that offense. He knows the personnel around him, the group of skill position guys he's very familiar with. The offensive line is pretty much what it was. So, yeah, I think it's all systems go for Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott maybe doesn't need the reps, but Trevor Lawrence certainly does as he gets ready for week 1 with the Jags. What more can you tell us about the plan to get him ready for the start of the year?
I mean, look, don't bleep it up. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is the one thing the Jacksonville Jaguars don't need to worry about. Get him his virtual playbook. Get him in the building as much as he's comfortable being in the building. Allow him to have some ownership of this offense. I think that's what's going to be fascinating for me. He's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. Every part of his development going back to middle school points to that. But what are the relationships going to be like? And there's a lot of players who've played for Urban Meyer, and they've left saying, I learned from that. I became a better player from that. I'm never going back to that. I don't want to feel like a cyborg. I don't want to feel like a cog. I don't want to feel like a part of his machine. I want to feel like a human being. And look, there's a lot of OSU players who Jacksonville tried to sign as street free agents, undrafted free agents, and they told their agents, I'll take less money to go somewhere else. I've done the Urban Meyer thing. So how is that going to play at the NFL level? How hard will they coach the quarterback? and what will those relationships be like? But I think it's going to be really hard to screw Trevor Lawrence up. The Jacksonville Jaguars, though, as an organization, as a franchise, haven't been able to establish any sort of winning identity that sticks more than a season here and a season there, and culture building and all that. We'll see how that goes, but Urban Meyer better change his ways.
All right. They got the golden goose, Jason. How they handle it remains to be seen. Appreciate it as always. And speaking of the Jaguars, check out the All Things Covered podcast with our guy Brian McFadden and Patrick Peterson. They talk about the Jaguars, of course, former Pro Bowl running back, talked about all things with Trevor Lawrence, whether they would be ready or not and what they need to do to get back to their winning ways. It's the All Things Covered podcast with BMAC and Patrick Peterson. Make sure you download and give them a follow today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.